White's Contender Series Season 9, Week 9 takes place this week, and here are my predictions for the entire card. As always, let's look at my past week's performance to see what we can improve upon. So for week number 8, we had a pretty bad week, okay? We went 2-3. We went out on a limb with a lot of underdog picks. We went with Dembasek. I thought maybe the Senegalian would have a power advantage against Curtis Campbell. Turns out the Pink Panther actually had the power advantage. We also had Christopher Alvidrez as an underdog against Eliezer Cubanza, and Alvidrez KOs him in the first round. So that was a pretty good read as well. We thought Mango Diaz could find the sub against Luis Jourdain. He almost had it, but then he actually gets subbed himself. And then Vitor Costa in the main event. He's going up against a blue belt. You would expect that he could maybe mix in a takedown. You're fighting a blue belt, but no, he doesn't mix in any takedowns. Gets starched in round 1. As for the bets, we were down about a half unit, 0.43 units down. We put a half unit on Dembasek. We also had Dembasek by round 1 KO. You know, sometimes it just doesn't work out, okay? Sometimes you reach for the cherries and you come down and you just have, you know, rotten mushrooms that are poisonous. You know, sometimes the bets don't always hit. We did have a 3-unit play on Rashid Vagabov to win, which was free, and the under 1.5 in the main event, which cashed as well. Main reason why we're up is because we put a big confident bet in. So for this week, we need to get profitable. We only have 2 weeks left to do it. Let's try to start with week number 9. First fight of this week is going to be Rafael Pergentino taking on Luke Fernandez. Pergentino, he trains at Gameness Fight Club. There's no one notable there, so I don't like that. He's fought at random Brazilian regional promotions. No one of note. I don't like that. And if you actually try to find footage on this guy, you'll see a very, very, very short woman holding the ring cards. I'm saying short, but it's really a dwarf. It's a dwarf holding the ring card. So this guy has a very sketchy resume, number 1. And number 2, when you watch him fight, he's mainly fought at heavyweight. This is going to be light heavyweight. Usually when a lighter guy goes up, they'll have lighter man skill, but this is the opposite. It's a heavyweight going down. He's going to have heavyweight lack of skill. As for Luke Fernandez, this guy is a proven finisher. He's got 4 KOs, 1 decision, and as an amateur, he amassed 5 finishes in his 6 amateur fights. He's got a wrestling, grappling background, but when you watch this guy fight, he's not really instantly shooting for a takedown. He's going in, he's putting a lot of pressure on you, and he's firing big shots. And if you can't handle the early onslaught of big shots, you're going to probably get KO'd very, very early. However, if you can handle that onslaught, that's when Luke Fernandez starts going for takedowns. He has elite wrestling, elite jiu-jitsu. I think in this matchup, Fernandez can find a sub on the ground. But ultimately speaking, I think he's going to get Rafael Pergentino out of there very quickly. He's minus 900 for a reason. I'm taking Luke Fernandez to win this by round 1 finish, round 1 KO. Next fight on this card is Donavon Hedrick taking on Luis Felipe Diaz. Donavon Hedrick, I like this guy a lot. He's got 5 KOs, 1 submission, and as an amateur, he finished all 5 fights. This guy has yet to see a scorecard. He doesn't know what that means. He's going in there and he's finishing opponents, whether they try to shoot takedowns on him. He's got a nice little guillotine he's got for you. He trains with Rodolfo Vieira. Or if this fight stays at range, he's got big power shots that I've seen him knock out people before. He pressures forward. I like that a lot. Nasty submissions. I like that a lot. And he's used to fighting in a small cage if you look over his tape. And the Apex is a small cage. I like that a lot. Diaz, he's got 7 KOs, 7 subs, 1 decision win. But what I don't like about this guy is he has multiple losses, number 1. And number 2, most of those losses are finish losses. He's got 2 KO losses, 1 sub loss. If you watch back those fights, he got put on chicken legs. He was doing the chicken dance in those KO losses. Even in some fights that go to the decision where he doesn't get starched or finished, he is getting put on chicken legs and he's doing the chicken dance. So, number 1, don't like this guy's chin. Number 2, don't like the level of competition he's fought. He's had 20 MMA fights so far, and not one of them has been a real step up in competition. Where he trains, there's no one notable. So, for all those reasons, I think this is a slam dunk, no-brainer pick for Donavon Hedrick to win this by KO. I'm also saying he's going to win by round 1 finish. I think if these guys meet in the middle, Donovan's going to have some power for Diaz, and Diaz is not going to like it. Diaz is going to crumple to the power. Minus 125 is an insane betting line. I know it's short notice for both guys, but minus 125, it should be minus like 300 in my opinion. So give me Hedrick. Next fight on the card is Imanol Rodriguez taking on Roque Jr. Imanol Rodriguez, if you watched last season of Tough, that's basically all you need to know about this guy. We got to see both versions of Imanol in Tough. In the first fight, we saw him go out there and completely starch his opponent in the first round. In the second fight, we saw lots of layers to Imanol's game. We saw that he can offensively shoot takedowns. We saw that he can get back control and amass back control time. We saw that he has good submission defense. Joseph Morales had him in a really bad spot with his back taken in the first round. Imanol survived the entire round, did not get choked out. I like that, considering Joseph Morales was also the eventual winner of Tough, beating Alibia Diris as a plus 400 underdog. So, a lot of things to like about Imanol. He's got the power to knock out someone. He's got the grappling to submit someone. And he's got the anti-grappling to potentially thwart any takedowns coming his way. As for Roque Jr., he has 7 KOs, 2 subs, 1 decision. I like that he has a lot of finishes in his 12 fights. He went 1-1 as an amateur with a submission loss. So it's not like he has elite jiu-jitsu, even though he's Brazilian. I think in this matchup, Imanol Rodriguez, the Mexican, is actually going to have better grappling. I don't like how Roque Jr. doesn't really train with anyone notable. I don't like that most of his fights got taken place in Brazilian regional promotions, fighting no one notable. I don't like that he doesn't really mix in takedowns. Yes, he does occasionally here and there in the tape, but he is often standing there, throwing low volume, throwing big shots when he can, and letting the fight come to him. I don't like that for an underdog. If I'm going to back an underdog, I need to know that they're going to move forward, and it doesn't matter if they get chinned or not. They're going to actually try to win, and I'm not super convinced that Roque Jr. fights in a way that's going to allow him to win. So for those reasons, I'm going with Imanol Rodriguez to actually find the KO. I think on the feet, Imanol is going to have a lot of power for Roque Jr., and I'm not sure if Roque Jr. is going to deal with the adversity correctly. I mean, in his 2 losses, those are the only 2 times he's ever dealt with adversity. And if you watch those fights back, I wouldn't be surprised if the ref stepped in at any moment in rounds 2 or 3. This guy's gas tank is not the best. I understand those losses took place years ago, maybe 2, 3, 4 years ago, and he's constantly improving, and he's a young fighter. But based on what I've seen, I think Imanol is going to have the better gas tank. I think he's going to be the better striker. I think he's going to be the better grappler. So Imanol Rodriguez to ultimately win by finish, I'm saying KO. Next fight that we're discussing is Adrian Luna Martinetti taking on Mark Vologdin. Adrian Luna, he's got 4 KOs, 6 submission wins, 6 decision wins, and 1 decision loss. This guy's been around the block. He has been fighting MMA for a good portion of time at this point. So has Mark Vologdin. But Adrian Luna, if you watch this guy fight, not the best striker. He does have 4 KOs, but he's not really entertaining the striking like you'd think someone with 4 KOs would be. He doesn't throw out a lot of volume, but what I do like about him is he's on a 4-fight finish streak, 14-fight win streak. He's going to be the way bigger guy in this matchup, and he can offensively shoot takedowns. He does it very often. So if this fight stays standing, I am concerned for Adrian Luna. But if he's the one shooting takedowns, I think he can actually have success doing that. Mark Vologdin, he's got 6 KOs, 4 subs, 2 decisions, mainly fought at MMA series and AFN. No idea what those promotions are. In fairness, where Adrian Luna fought, those promotions are kind of low level as well. This will be the biggest step up in competition for either fighter here. Mark Vologdin's getting a lot of rep because he trains at All Stars Training Center, and that's where Hamzat is. So any prospect coming out of All Stars is immediately seen as a good one. But Mark Vologdin, I mean, he does have power on the feet. I think he could knock out Adrian Luna. He does have decent takedowns. I think he could control and take down Adrian Luna. But the thing that I'm seeing over and over again in Mark Vologdin fights is he does not deal with takedowns himself well. Once he's actually taken down, he doesn't have the best get-up game. He's often just laying there for the entire round, getting hit, getting put into sneaky submissions. Adrian Luna, he's got 6 sub wins. I think he can find a sub in this matchup. Mark Vologdin, if he's offensively shooting takedowns, yes, he has a chance to win. But if this hits the scorecards, who do I trust more to win more minutes in the fight? I think the guy with 6 decision wins compared to the guy with 2 decision wins. This is also at bantamweight, way lower weight class, way less likely that we'll actually see a finish between 2 high-level guys. So for all those reasons, I think Adrian Luna can mix in takedowns. I think if this stays standing, he can keep it razor close. And I just think that Adrian Luna can win more minutes in this fight. If Mark Vologdin is not blasting this guy in the first round with a KO, or actually shooting double legs every single round, at that point, Mark Vologdin is going to be half the size of Adrian Luna, and Adrian Luna is going to have all the takedown upside himself. So, Adrian Luna, I like to win this, actually, by decision. In the main event of the evening, Lucas Caldas taking on Magomed Zaynukov. Lucas Caldas, he's got 6 KO wins, and his only loss was due to illegal foot stomps. In that fight, he was about to get the KO win, and he decides to stomp on the guy with his actual foot, which is illegal. Can't do that. He should be 7-0. He trains at Nova União with the likes of Jose Aldo. That's the gym where all the good Brazilians train at. I like that. He's got a Muay Thai kickboxing background. I like that. He's going to have good striking. And his level of competition hasn't been the worst. But when you watch this guy fight, he's throwing complete caution to the wind. In this fight, I would be heavily surprised if it leaves round 1 with the way Lucas Caldas fights. Lucas Caldas is going to get in Magomed's face insanely early, and he's going to be throwing big shots at Magomed insanely early. If you look at Magomed Zaynukov, he is a Dagestani Russian that trains with Habib and Islam and all those guys. So right off the bat, you might be like, oh, no-brainer pick. But this guy, he went 5-0 with 5 KO wins against Cans. Goes to UAE Warriors, fights 2 guys that are actually decent level, brings them both to decision. I don't like that. His finishing ability seemingly goes out the window when he's fighting someone that is UFC caliber-ish. Against Lucas Caldas, I think Lucas Caldas is UFC caliber-ish. Magomed's background is Muay Thai. That's a big problem in my opinion. You might think Dagestani Russian, he's going to wrestle takedown. If you actually watch his fights, he's not really shooting takedowns like you'd think he would be. So, in this one, if it just simply stays standing, I think Lucas Caldas has more power to offer on the feet. I think Lucas Caldas is going to move forward, going to pressure Magomed in this one, and I simply think Magomed's price tag is like this because he has that one picture on his Instagram with Islam Makhachev. I don't think he's actually that good whatsoever. He doesn't throw it a lot of volume. I'm not really sure what he's good at in this fight that would make him win. Maybe he can land a big shot. Lucas Caldas has been rocked, has been wobbled before, so I wouldn't be shocked to see a Magomedov like flash KO in the first round. But outside of that, I don't think Magomed's takedown entries are that good. I think if this stays standing, Lucas Caldas will have more power. He's going to be the bigger guy. I think you guys know where I'm going with this, and I don't know if you like it, but I'm going with Lucas Caldas to win this by round 1 KO. I might have done round 2, but Lucas Caldas KO. I like this a lot. I will definitely be sprinkling Caldas' money line, at least 1 unit on him. He's extremely live, and I think the line is only this wide because Magomed trains with Islam. My final predictions for Season 9, Week 9. Here we go. We got Lucas Caldas in the main event, round 2 KO. Okay, so I did round 2. Adrian Luna by decision. I think he's going to out-grapple the Mark, and he's going to win a decision. And then I have favorites rest of the way. Imanol Rodriguez, round 2 KO. Wouldn't be shocked to see a decision win. I have Hedrick by round 1 KO. Fairly confident that that happens. Luke Fernandez by round 1 KO. He's minus 900. I mean, I think these are pretty solid picks. If you're going to bet on violence, I would bet on violence in the main event and in the first fight. And if you're going to maybe bet on no violence, the Luna fight, I would say maybe don't bet on violence, and the Imanol fight. As for everything else, let's make some money, huh?